All right, let's dive into something that always gets people talking.
Oh, yeah.
The roles men and women play in relationships.
Always a hot topic.
Especially this idea of men shouldering
Yeah.
100% of the financial burden.
Right.
We're dissecting a YouTube debate with two very different views.
Okay.
Anton Daniels,
Yeah.
yada.
I'm intrigued.
They even get into this whole Adam and Eve thing.
Oh, right.
So buckle up. Let's see what we uncover.
I'm ready.
Money, who controls it, always seems to be a flashpoint.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it unlocks these deeper questions about
Yeah,
power dynamics between genders.
for sure.
And how we view traditional roles in relationships.
It's like the tip of the iceberg, you know?
What's that?
You tug on the money thread and all these other things unravel.
You said it.
It's fascinating, really.
So, yada. He comes out swinging,
Oh, really?
arguing passionately for why men should handle all the finances.
Okay, interesting.
He's got this powerful, almost preacher-like style,
I can imagine.
and he uses personal stories to really drive his point home.
I like that. Makes it relatable.
Like, he talks about his 5-year-old son who's already testing at a 4th grade level.
Wow, that's impressive.
And Yada attributes that directly to his dedication to providing for his family.
So he's linking financial stability to
Yeah.
the child's development.
You got it. Like, it's a prerequisite for intellectual and emotional growth.
I wonder if that's coming from a
Remember?
place of wanting to create the best environment or if
Yeah.
it's broader societal pressures.
It's an interesting question for
Yeah.
sure.
Very interesting.
And he doesn't stop at just money.
Oh.
Yada defines providing as this much broader concept.
Okay.
It's about men elevating women, mentally, spiritually, even emotionally.
So it's like a holistic kind of support.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And he even draws a distinction between men and males,
Okay.
arguing that true manhood fulfilling those responsibilities.
So it's tied to his definition of masculinity.
That's a powerful statement.
It is. It really makes you think about
Right.
how we define masculinity.
Right.
Is it a burden? Or is it a role they naturally strive for?
It's a great question to unpack.
Definitely something to ponder.
Now, on the flip side, we have Anton Daniels.
Uh-huh.
He presents a completely different view,
Okay.
speaking much calmer, emphasizing character, individual purpose,
I see.
over just financial provision.
What are your initial thoughts on that?
It definitely made me reconsider some things.
Like what?
Well, Anton Daniels brings up age,
Right.
readiness for marriage,
Important factors.
even the need for parental approval,
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
which almost feels like he's subtly critiquing
Yeah.
some of Yada's assumptions.
Like a one-size-fits-all
Yeah.
approach, maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anton Daniels seems to value
Hmm.
personal growth
Right.
and thoughtful decision-making.
As key to a successful relationship.
Right. Like he's saying, build a solid foundation for yourself first.
Before trying to build a life together.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy.
And then the debate takes this fascinating turn.
Oh, where does it go?
They start talking about the Bible,
Oh, wow.
the story of Adam and Eve.
Interesting choice.
Yada uses it to reinforce his point,
About,
men's responsibility to protect and uplift women.
I see.
He paints this powerful picture of a rib protecting vital organs and how a fractured rib leaves you vulnerable.
Oh, I like that analogy.
It's so vivid.
It is, and it ties back to his point about men safeguarding women.
Yeah, like he's connecting this ancient story to present-day gender roles.
That's amazing.
But Anton Daniels doesn't just sit back.
What does he say?
He points out that Eve disobeyed God
Right.
and that both Adam and Eve faced consequences.
So he's saying they both share responsibility.
Yeah, and he draws parallels to today's societal issues,
Nice.
suggesting that putting all the blame on men is oversimplifying things.
Interesting take.
It really highlights how the same story can be interpreted
Yeah.
in totally different ways.
Depending on your perspective.
Exactly.
It's like looking through different lenses.
And then it gets even more intense.
How so?
They dig into the specifics of the story.
Ooh, the details.
Yada latches onto the fact that the serpent knew parts of the Bible,
Oh, that's a good point.
implying there's more to the story than just
Right.
pure evil tempting innocent Eve.
It adds complexity to the serpent's character.
Doesn't it? Makes you question that simple portrayal.
For sure. Makes you think.
Then Anton Daniels jumps in, questions whether Adam was even there during Eve's interaction,
Wow, really getting into it.
even challenges Yada to quote the exact verses.
So it becomes a debate about
Yeah.
biblical interpretation.
It shows how even seemingly straightforward texts can have multiple readings.
Absolutely.
So We've got a lot to unpack here.
We do. It's fascinating.
What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, both Yada and Anton Daniels made some good points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to remember, this isn't a black and white issue.
Definitely not.
It's complex.
Absolutely.
What's key is for our listeners to think critically about the assumptions underlying each perspective.
Like what cultural and societal influences are shaping these viewpoints?
Yeah, are these beliefs coming from traditional teachings, or are they more modern interpretations?
And how much do individual experiences play a role?
Right, if you grew up with a certain model,
Yeah.
it might shape your own views.
Exactly.
Someone who saw their parents struggle financially might prioritize financial independence.
It's about recognizing the potential benefits and drawbacks of each approach.
Right, for instance. The idea of men as sole providers could offer stability.
But could also lead to dependence and power imbalances.
What happens if a man loses his job?
Exactly. Or if the woman wants to contribute but feels pressure not to.
These are important questions.
For sure.
It's about expectations and how they shape dynamics.
It's a delicate balance.
It is. And then there's the other side.
Yeah.
Focusing on individual purpose and shared responsibility.
Like Anton Daniels suggests.
Could foster equality.
Right.
But could also lead to friction if you're not aligned on financial goals.
You got it.
It's about finding what works for both people.
And that will probably look different for every couple.
Absolutely. It's about circumstances and values.
Oh, there's one more point from Yada that stuck with me.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
He talked about how Adam was punished not for eating the fruit, but for listening to Eve.
Oh, I remember that.
Like he's suggesting Adam's sin was not asserting his authority.
Interesting interpretation.
But Anton Daniels pushes back on that too.
Of course.
Arguing God punished them both for disobedience.
Makes sense.
And blaming men oversimplifies things.
Again, highlighting these different interpretations.
Right. And how they tie into their views on relationships.
It's fascinating, really.
It's why these conversations are so important.
I agree, even when they get heated.
We learn by listening.
Challenging our own assumptions.
Exactly.
So we can understand these issues better.
So to sum up, we've explored two very different viewpoints from traditional roles.
To a more modern approach.
And we've uncovered some thought-provoking questions.
About religious texts, societal expectations.
And personal experiences.
It's all connected.
What are our listeners thinking so far?
What stands out to you?
Let's reflect on this before diving deeper.
Sounds good.
There's much more to explore.
I'm ready when you are. It's wild how much weight those traditional interpretations carry.
I know, right? It's like we inherit these relationship models from our families, our communities, without even realizing it.
You just absorb them?
Yeah, these unspoken rules.
Like this is how it's supposed to be.
But do they actually work?
That's the question, isn't it?
Maybe it's time to question them. See if they actually fit with our values.
Especially because holding on to those beliefs can cause conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if partners have different views.
Right. Yeah.
Like, imagine one person wants that traditional division of labor. Men handle the finances, women the home, and kids.
Yeah, classic setup.
And the other wants a more equal partnership.
Oh, that's going to cause tension.
Big time.
It's not just about practical stuff either.
Yeah, it goes deeper.
Like who pays the bills, does the chores.
Right.
It's about emotional labor, too.
Absolutely.
Supporting each other through thick and thin.
Exactly. Who's the caregiver when someone's sick?
Yeah. Who handles the budget?
Who makes the tough decisions?
Even who initiates those tough conversations.
It's all connected.
So many layers.
And no easy answers.
Definitely not. What matters is both partners feeling heard, respected.
Like their team.
Exactly. Part of something.
Working together.
It's so important to create that space.
Where you can express your needs.
Yeah, your expectations.
Openly and honestly.
Sometimes, though, couples need help.
Oh, for sure.
To navigate those conversations.
Absolutely. That's where therapy can be so valuable.
A therapist can provide that neutral ground.
Yeah, to work through challenges.
Build those communication skills.
And ultimately create a more fulfilling relationship.
So, circling back to our YouTube debate, it seems like Yada and Anton Daniels represent those two sides.
Those two distinct viewpoints.
Yeah, but it's important to remember.
Oh, definitely.
It's a spectrum.
Way more nuanced than just 2 points.
There's no single right way
to have a relationship.
What works for one couple might not for another.
It's about self-awareness.
Yeah.
Critical thinking.
And most importantly,
communication.
Open and honest communication.
By examining our own beliefs, being honest about what we need,
And talking to our partner.
Respectfully, of course.
We can build relationships that are authentic and fulfilling.
I love that.
It's not about a formula.
It's a process.
It's learning, growing.
Adapting together.
And I think that's a perfect place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Relationships really are a journey.
Yeah, with twists and turns.
Bumps along the way.
Definitely. But maybe those bumps are actually good.
Oh, I like that.
Opportunities to learn and grow.
Both individually.
And as a couple.
You're so right. It's easy to get caught up in that perfect relationship fantasy.
Oh, totally.
But maybe the magic's in those imperfections.
Embracing the messiness.
Yeah. Learning from the challenge.
It's not about finding the perfect match.
It's about recognizing that relationships are always changing, adapting.
Just like us.
What worked 5 years ago might not work today.
Right, and that's okay.
It's okay to change.
It's all about staying flexible.
Open to new things.
Willing to shift gears.
Exactly. And that's where those communication skills.
Oh, communication is key.
Absolutely essential.
Being able to say what you need.
And listen to your partner.
Find those compromises.
That work for both of you.
That's how you build something strong.
A healthy foundation.
And sometimes it's not the big dramatic stuff.
No, it's the little things.
The everyday moments.
Showing up for your partner.
Yeah, lending an ear after a tough day.
Helping with chores.
Just being there.
Those gestures mean so much.
They really do.
It's about creating a culture
of
support, appreciation.
Where both partners feel valued.
Exactly.
It's like building trust, intimacy.
Brick by brick.
That foundation helps you weather the storms.
Navigate the tough stuff.
Come out stronger on the other side.
That's beautifully put.
It's not about avoiding conflict altogether.
It's about knowing how to work through it.
As a team.
Exactly.
So bringing it back to our YouTube debate, Yara and Anton Daniels really gave us a lot to think about.
Two very different perspectives.
But both thought-provoking.
They sparked some serious discussion.
They might not have agreed on everything.
But that's okay.
I think they highlighted the importance of having these conversations.
Challenging our own assumptions.
And trying to really understand what makes relationships work.
Absolutely. And they reminded us.
Yeah.
There's no one right way to do this whole relationship thing.
It's unique to each couple.
What works for one might not work for another.
And that's perfectly fine.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
What aligns with your values.
What brings you joy.
And remember, creating a healthy and loving relationship.
It's a journey.
A lifelong adventure.
With ups and downs.
Challenges and triumphs.
But you learn and grow together.
Every step of the way.
Beautifully said. So to our listeners out there.
Yeah.
Keep those conversations going.
Stay curious.
And never stop exploring what it means.
To create a relationship that truly nourishes your soul.
Well said.
That's all for our deep dive this week.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.